Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're glad you're with us this morning. It's October 22nd, 2021. Our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. I do know of one landing. We'll then have everybody put their 30-second introductions into the chat window. After that, we'll hear from our committees about workshop, job fairs, the practice interview team, the interview success workshop, and then we'll hear the career tip of the week. And then about at the top of the hour, we will hear from our speaker for our main event. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please just open up the Zoom chat window, enter your questions in there. For those watching on Facebook, please just enter your questions into the comment field. We are monitoring that feed and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. Please note this event is currently being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments that you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007. When the prior person who was leading the group got a job and said, who wants to take over? And so I've been doing that ever since. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org to help those who are unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area by putting everything a job seeker needed to know about their job search in one place. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help people around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, and you'll hear more about that in just a couple of moments. Well, we like to start the meeting off with good news. I know of one landing, so David, tell us your good news.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Well, you know, the first thing I thought of this morning when I saw that Mark and Walt were on here is I'm just imagining that Walt said, or Mark was thinking, you know, I'm really glad we only have one today because this guy cannot answer the tell me about yourself question in under 2 minutes. So we don't know how long he's going to go. I'm going to try to keep it really short. If you didn't get that joke, then I have two pieces of advice coming right off the bat. The first one is I'm going to do a quick Walt Glass promotion. I don't know if you can see it, but those are his worksheets. I've spent a lot of time on those worksheets the last few weeks. Here's the book Jeff was talking about. Oh, well, you know what, let me get it a little bit clearer. And this is another one that I highly recommend. It's Jay Fasaro's book. I've been digging deep into those. All of this is possible thanks to Jeff, to Mark, to Walt, to many other people, to Carol, to Kurt Vondermuller, to Terry Sullivan. There were so many things that I learned that I did not know before I started here. And the essence of my story, and I didn't actually share it with Jeff. There's some pieces of it I probably can't talk about, but I will tell you the gist of it is I found out about this opportunity. Well, I was connected to the hiring manager through one of you, an individual who was also looking for a job. He and I had very similar backgrounds. We connected, sharing, trading, our target company information and people we knew, started having lunch together. And one day I met him for lunch and he said, hey, he said, I just accepted this great job. But he said, I got an offer right after that from another company. It happened to be Service King. And he said, I told him about you. And he said, I think you'd be perfect for it. I want to connect you to the hiring manager. And he said, I've already told her about it. You know, I want you to send me your resume so I can send it to her. So I did that. And I sent my bio along with it. And the next week, I got a call to come in for an interview. That was about 3 weeks ago. And the accelerated process is the main reason that I didn't go back and do another pit crew interview. I was finding out about the next interview, like literally a day or two after the previous one. And I just couldn't figure out how to work that out. But I will say, I rewatched all of my pit crew interviews. I watched Walt's video. Like I said, I went through the books. There is so much that you can learn from being here. And there are no words to express my gratitude. Thank you.
Well, David, great, congratulations. So really, this really all happened like within a 1 month period?
Yeah, it was, I still can't believe it. But honestly, I would say that, Jeff, every time you tell people to look at that spreadsheet that comes out, I would encourage you to do that. I have reached out to a few people on that, recommended people I knew to them. I haven't had a lot of traction from that. Occasionally I'll meet somebody, but I would say that take the time to do that. You might be surprised at where your next opportunity comes from. I'm a little embarrassed to say that Service King was not. They were not on my target company list. Now that I know more about them, they probably should have been. But there are opportunities out there that you may be missing, and they could very well be coming from somebody on this Zoom call today. Well,
David, congratulations. Thank you very much for the information. Great promotion for Mark and Walt and everybody else who participates and offers their advice all for free, just to try to help you land your next great opportunity. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else? Any other landings? If you do, unmute your mic and let us know. Let me back up and see. David makes number 89, the 89th person from this group. So I know we'll break 100 here. I know we're going to have 11 more people landing. So you will definitely, there'll be people on this list who will be landing here in the next couple months. All right, we'll move on here. It's time to put your 30-second introductions. You saw this help David find a connection with somebody. Please, in the Zoom chat window or the Facebook comment field, put in your name, comma, phone number, comma, email address, comma, position you're looking for, comma, 2 or 3 target companies, and then hit the return key. For those people watching on Facebook right now, I will go and delete your personal information as soon as this meeting's over with, so it won't hang out there forever and ever. So everybody else, please put your information in so we can share and try to help each other. All right, you're welcome to keep typing if you haven't got your information. And this is where I do update the roster from this information. So if you don't tell us you're here, if you don't put anything in the chat window, I won't know you're here and we won't get you on the roster. So if you're using us for a TWC, one of your events that you have to have, please be sure to put something in there so I'll make sure we get you counted for this week. All right, it's time to hear about job, career fairs, training, and workshops that are going on. Good morning, Eldon.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. As Jeff said, I'm going to tell you this week about the career and job fairs coming up and special workshops or events. The information that I'm about to present to you comes from the calendar tab on the website careerdfw.org, which is on the screen in front of you. I usually go over this information very quickly, so if you hear something that catches your ear, I would urge you to go to the particular calendar tabs in question, the career and job fairs and the workshops tabs, and find the item you're looking for. Click on that and you'll find more information, usually containing links to participate and or register. And I want you to take note that all of those different colors on there represent different categories of activities going on in the DFW area. And as you can see from the color spread, there's quite a few. All right, having said that, this week's career and job fairs. There'll be a job fair at the West Dallas Multipurpose Center at 2828 Fish Trap Road in Dallas on Saturday, October 23rd from 9 a.m. to noon. And this is a public service. You can dispose of unwanted and expired medications on Saturday, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The where and when of this can be found on links on the calendar. And this is to prevent people from flushing unwanted medication down the drain and otherwise throwing it away improperly. So I urge you, if you have some medications you need to dispose of, to participate in this event. The Rowlett Job Fair will be held at the Rowlett Community Center located at 5300 Main Street in Rowlett on Tuesday, October 26th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And there are links for job seekers and businesses to participate in this event, and those are on the calendar. There'll be a holiday hiring fair at 5750 East Lovers Lane in Dallas. This is put on by Central Market. It'll be Tuesday, October 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. If you love food and you'll love working at Central Market, I know I shop there. It's a great place to go. The Dallas Richardson Career Fair will be held at the Holiday Inn Dallas in Richardson at 1655 North Central Expressway in Richardson on Thursday, October 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This week's special workshops or events, this one online, LinkedIn Tuesdays at 1 p.m., Tuesday, October 26th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Join Locke Alderson, Terry Sullivan, Ruth Lipsky, or Kurt Vondemutter for an online session to learn about LinkedIn. And there are Facebook links and a Zoom link to participate. Online again, the Who You Know Career Transition Summit will be held online Wednesday, October 27th from 10 a.m. to noon. There's a link to register for that. This is hosted by Foster Williams, who's one of our area's local recruiters. And if you don't know Foster, I would strongly urge you to get to know Foster Williams. Online again, interviewing Wednesdays at 1 p.m. This workshop is put on by Mark McDonald, who's the leader of our pit crew, and Walt Glass, who runs our interview success workshop. This week is session 13, Avoiding Interview Crashes. This is number 13 of a 13-part series. There's a Zoom link and a Facebook link on the calendar to participate in that. And finally, also online, a networking webinar, Thursday, October 28th from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. Join Career DFW and CareerUSA.org on the second and fourth Thursdays from 1 to 2:15 p.m. for their networking seminar. And they'll have a different speaker each week talking about networking. There's a Zoom link and a Facebook link to participate. And that's it for this week.
Eldon, thank you very, very much. All right, here, let's see here. If you know somebody who has gotten laid off, or somebody who's out looking for work, or somebody who doesn't know about all the resources that David mentioned in his success, please let them know about Career DFW and Career USA, all the free services and stuff that we provide to help job seekers. All right, it's time to hear from the practice interview team. Good morning, Mark.
Well, good morning, everybody, and I'm so happy for David. He's a little too humble, though. I got to fill in some of the details. So as far as what I have in my records is David has been out of work for about 2 years. At least I know he joined the pit crew in October 2019. And over the last 2 years, I just added it up, he's done 37 practice interviews. That means he contributed to other people's success 37 times. So there you go, David. I'm crying here. I now I got to find somebody who can take David's place. I don't know that it can be replaced, but we can, get somebody else in here, maybe 3 or 4 people to cover all the effort that David put into giving back to others. So congratulations, David. And that's a great networking story too. So lots of good stuff. So let me just start off by saying, everything the pit crew does is free. I always forget to say that. So now I'm going to say the very first thing. And I was only half joking about replacing David. I've had 8 panelists land over the summertime, and it was very slow during the summertime. So I didn't do a lot of recruiting, and now I'm behind. So if you want to give back like David did while you're in job transition, and you've been a hiring manager, then I've got a spot for you. And it just became vacant. So there you go. Give me a call or reach out to me at the email dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, and I'll talk to you and let you know how it works and how you could become involved. I just posted up the contact information for me on LinkedIn and also for the pit crew, including a phone number. So if you have any questions, you can give me a call. And so with the way the pit crew works is we give you a very customized and personalized interview experience. So based on a job description that you select, and of course your resume and where you are in your hiring process. If it's early in the interview process or late in the interview process, the interviews change slightly. And also depending on what level you're interviewing with. So we completely customize your practice interview. But that doesn't mean you have to have an opportunity to practice with. You can just find a job description, maybe it's your dream job, looks really good to you, and come and practice, because every time you practice, you are going to become more proficient at interviewing. And you'll start to learn kind of the structure of the interview and how to influence the interview through the questions you might ask, and to be prepared for the questions that are come your way that may be kind of oddball or difficult questions to answer. So that's what you get out of a very customized experience. And of course, it's given the volunteers who give these interviews have all been hiring managers as part of their professional responsibility. So that is the magic of the PIT crew, a very customized and personalized interviews experience. And the people who are interviewing you have done it as part of their professional responsibility. So when you're ready to practice, here's what you need to do. You need to find that job description that looks good to you, or maybe you're engaged in an opportunity, a recruiter calls you up, send that job description in along with your resume, but also include the time that you're available for +2 days and +3 days. So it takes a little bit of time to get everybody's schedule lined up. That's your schedule plus the schedule for 3 volunteers. And so I can usually get that done in 2 days. Sometimes it takes 3. If you include that information, your initial email, you're already ahead. And we do the interviews any day of the week, work days, normal working hours, but we can do them on the weekend if you have a special situation. So tell us the days and the times you're available and we'll get that sorted out. They last about 1 hour and 15 minutes total. So that's how much time you need to set aside. You'll get a copy of the video, which includes the interview portion and the feedback portion at the end, and you can review that afterwards. And David said he'd gone back and looked at some of his previous interview videos that he'd done with PIT crew when he was a candidate, the PIT crew. And so that's how the PIT crew works. And I encourage you to practice early and practice often. That's our tagline. You can come back and practice as many times as you want. David practiced twice for a summertime opportunity he had. And some people practice, I've had people practice for every round of interview that they went through. So that's possible too. We're here to help you and, meet you where you are. So send your information in and we'll get started. Two-way interviews. I just talked about two-way interviews, the more traditional, people on each side, but we also offer, the PIT crew also has a one-way interview offering with very modest goals. We just want to get you used to working with these tools because it's a very strange thing when there's nobody on the other end. It's, it's very definitely like, I guess, being an actor, the only thing you have to interact with is the camera and your imagination. So we give you an opportunity to practice doing that, but because I give you the questions in advance, there's only 4 of them. I'll send you a link. When you make the request, you'll get a link to the Easy Hire tool, which is the name of the tool that we use. It's a professional tool. You probably have heard of HireView, I think, which is the most popular one. So it's very similar to that. It's completely confidential. Nobody will, once you get that link, you interact with the tool. The tool will send you a link after that's done, a link to your video, and then you can go and look at it. And nobody else is ever involved. Nobody ever sees it unless you choose to share that link with someone to take a look at it. So that's the one-way interview. There's my LinkedIn profile, and I put my LinkedIn address in the chat window. So just send me a note that said we met on North Dallas Career Focus Group. I'd like to know where we connected, and that'll be great. But the best way, if you want to practice, is to send it to Gmail address, not to the LinkedIn address. So, and if you do, if you do that, I'll redirect you to the Gmail address. And then finally, I want to just mention what's coming up. Eldon mentioned next Wednesday for the interview webinar is avoiding interview crashes. So these are common mistakes that everybody makes, even though they shouldn't make them. And so Walt and I put together a list of the things, that I see at the PIT crew and he sees at his interview success workshop. And so we'll go over those, but it's not just going over those mistakes. It's focused on, how you avoid those mistakes or what you do instead of making those mistakes. And so it's a collection of the highest priority things that a lot of people tend to trip up on. And so very worthwhile session. And then the first week of November, we start over with the series, which is preparing to interview and recruiting. Very good. It's worthwhile just to hear the recruiting part, but it's also about how to prepare to interview. A lot of people, when they are first in the job search, just don't have any insight into how much preparation is needed to interview effectively. So we'll start off with that the first week of November. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, Walt.
Well, good morning, everyone, and congratulations, David. Job well done. A long trek, a long path, ups and downs all through the way. But you know that hard work pays off. And so congratulations to you. And also, somebody backed into me not too long ago. So Service King, I've been there. So I'm aware of that. So now I have a personal contact there in case I should happen to go back. So I might be able to use that information and advice that you can give me. So who am I? Well, I'm retired and I had an IT career for many years. And after 25 years working with a company and going through a third downsizing, I decided to do the early retirement. Thought I'd get a job in about 3 months because I still wanted to work. I mean, it took me 15 months to find a job. And so I've been in the kind of path that you have been. All of a sudden, you know, we're working and now we're not working. Some of us have worked for many years, and the last time we interviewed, or maybe we haven't even interviewed, or we've been pulled from job to job, and all of a sudden we're sitting on the other side of the desk. In the workshop that I offer, I interviewed a person, and she was a senior recruiter and has interviewed and hired, I mean, how many people over the years, you know, 10, 15 years of experience that she had. And then she sat on the candidate side and the world changed. And so that's kind of where we face it today. And so Mark and I like to help people with that and getting into the next company and the next place that you want to do. So while I visited the pit crew early on to see what was going on there, I said, man, this is great. But I still saw some things that I thought we might want to pay attention to. So I started a workshop that focuses on the basics of the interview. So let's analyze the interview and what's in it. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to sell? How do we try to sell it? What are those fundamental things that we can pay attention to? And so I came up with selling who we are, what we do, and how we help. The three elements that people are buying. They want to know our personality, our soft skills, our characteristics, our culture fit. They want to know our experience, our background, our education, our hard skills. And they also want to know what can we do for them. In fact, my first interview, after I had taken that early retirement, the person sat across the room and said, tell me, Walter, what can you do for me? And I didn't have a clue. I mean, I didn't have an idea. I was ready to go through my resume, talk about all the things I did. So I changed my focus. So I offer this free workshop. You have to be registered to attend. Look me up on the About section on my LinkedIn page. It tells you about the workshop. Just send me an email to that walt_glass@yahoo.com, and I'll give you some dates, registration. The way I handle it is very informal. This is a practice. You do get a video of your interview, but we're going to cover the 11 basic categories of questions and strategies, approaches, suggestions, ideas, options on how we might answer them. Every question has a motive, and there's always something about a question that says, why this question? Why now in this process, and why from this person, so that we can answer that motive as well as answering the question. So I'd love to have you come sign up. There's no reason that you have to sit in a hot seat for this particular process. It is free, so you don't have to worry about getting out your wallet and paying anything for it. Although I may, you know, in about 10 years, I may retroactively send you an invoice. I may do that. So I'll use the bait and switch. But nonetheless, come on down and we can have some learning without squirming. We all know it's true. We should practice the interview. It'll remove anxiety. It keeps us from psychiatry, and we can rejoin the working society.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Walt. All right, it's time to hear from the career tip of the week, which you can find on the Career DFW Career USA website. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Jeff, and good morning, everyone else. This week's career tip is 5 big questions to ask before taking a job by Kelly Kuhn and Jenna Arkand. This is it. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. After going through the hiring process, you're offered a position. Congratulations. It's a big accomplishment and you should be proud of yourself, just like David. However, just because you got the offer doesn't necessarily mean you should accept it on the spot. Think about it. Would you buy a house without considering what it means for you in the long run? Your career shouldn't be any different. Taking a job is a huge investment, both for you and your potential employer. So some serious thought needs to go into your decision. Before you accept that job offer, ask yourself these 5 questions. First, is this the role I want to pursue? This question may seem like an obvious one to ask, but it's still important. There could be a huge difference between how you view the job and how your employer views it. Take another look at the job description and make sure it is, in fact, what you want to do. Also, think back how the hiring manager described the position during your job interviews. Did you like their answer when you asked them what a typical day in the job looks like? Don't forget to consider what you're good at and what you actually want to do for work. Are there skills you'd really like to use on a daily basis? If so, make sure they're a necessary part of the position. Are there skills you don't like using on a daily basis? If so, see if they're required for the job, and if they are, find out how often you need to pull them into your work. It's important to know what your role will be and what will be required of you daily. This is also a good time to ask your potential employer to clarify anything for you. Second, am I going to be happy at this job? Your happiness level at your job will impact your work. In MetLife's 17th Annual Employee Benefit Trend Study, 90% of workers surveyed said their loyalty is directly tied to their happiness. When debating whether to take the job or not, consider the environment you'd be working in as much as the work itself. Is this a place you can see yourself going to every day? Do you share the company's core values? Do you like the company's culture? Your happiness is key for productivity, and it's important to evaluate if this job will help you thrive. Third, can I meet my employer's expectations? You got a job offer for a reason. The hiring manager thinks you'd be a good fit for the company after looking at your resume and going through a series of interviews. They believe you can do the job, but do you believe you can? Be honest with yourself. This is a big step for you both and your employer and your potential employer, so you want to be confident in your skills. Taking another look at the expectations of the job is never a bad thing, especially if you haven't accepted the position yet. That way, you can gauge your skills and determine if you can meet or even exceed your potential employer's expectations. Remember, you don't want to take a job that will be too demanding and require too much from you, resulting in poor work-life balance. But you also don't want to take a job that will be too easy for you either. The right position for you will have a manageable workload and lots of opportunities to grow as a professional. Take the job that won't bore you, but also won't burn you out in 6 months. Fourth, how do I feel about my future boss and coworkers? Think back to your in-person interview when you met your potential boss and coworkers. What were your first impressions of them? Did you think your potential boss was someone you could work for happily? Were your potential coworkers friendly and eager to get to know you? If you take the job, you'll be spending a lot of time with these people. It's important to be honest about how you feel about them. And lastly, and fifth, will this job help me grow in my career? Think about your short-term and long-term career goals. Then take another look at the job description. Is this job going to help you reach those goals? What will you learn in this position that will take you to the next level? The position should help you grow as a professional. If you aren't sure about opportunities for advancement, this time allows you to reach out to the hiring manager and ask if you haven't already asked about this during the interview process. In conclusion, before you take a job, remember to ask yourselves these 5 big questions. That way, you'll accept every job offer confidently, excited about this next chapter in your career. That's it for this week's tip. Good luck, everyone, and back to you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Tony. You can check out the career tip of the week each week. It changes every Saturday afternoon. All right, Mark McDonald has another comment he'd like to make. So Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. I got so excited about David's landing. I forgot to mention that the crew has been very busy the last few weeks. And I just want to mention that it's always been this way. You know, the last part of the year, especially the last 2 months of the year, are very busy. Recruiting does not slow down. People are still, are hiring, trying to hire people and fill those positions before 2022 arrives. So don't slow down, take advantage of the burst in activity. And, when I first got laid off, I got laid off on November 12th, the third time, 2012. And so I took the rest of the year off. That was a big mistake. Okay. There's a lot of activity, even though there's Thanksgiving and Christmas in November and December. There's a lot of interviewing and hiring activity going on. So keep the pedal to the metal and come and practice. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. All right. For those of you who've got cameras and you're able to put on your camera, please, we'd like to see your smiling faces. It really helps the presenter because that way she can see everybody and get some feedback. It's hard to just talk to nobody out there. So if you will, if you've got a camera, please turn on your camera so we can watch, so we can see you during our presentation today. All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll hear from Dr. Susan Carlson to talk about how you can win over the holidays, mastering your mind for success. But I want to talk about upcoming sessions we have next Friday morning, how to make networking strategies at work. So I met this gentleman, I saw this gentleman do a presentation. He's out of the Philadelphia, at the Pennsylvania area. I'm not really sure where. I saw him do a presentation online. I went, oh, this is really great. So he'll be with us next Friday morning. On November 5th, as we do the beginning first Friday of every month, we'll have open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. And then on November 12th, Career DFW will be turning 13 a few days later. So I'll be doing my presentation about Career DFW and how to use the Career DFW website. So I only do it for this group once a year, or right around the birthday, right around the anniversary. So it's hard to believe it's been almost 13 years. All right, it's time to hear from our speaker. During her long career, Dr. Carson has worn many hats. She's been a biochemist, clinical chemist, a toxicologist, a university professor, a police poison person, an executive recruiter, a speaker and author, a wife, a mother, an expert baker, and now a coach. Yeah, she's never brought me any good sweets. I want to talk about that. She worked with individuals who know that gaining insight into is the key to discovering what's preventing them from attaining the results they want, be it a new job or a better position in their present one. Most recently, Dr. Carson was honored by the Colleyville Chamber of Commerce as Member of the Month. So let's welcome Dr. Susan Carlson.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
We can.
Good. All right. Here comes the fun part. I'm technically challenged. So let's see if this works. Let's see where I am. It worked. Oh my God. Can you all see it clearly?
We sure can.
Okay. How do I advance?
Well, you probably want to put this into slideshow. So click on slideshow.
Can't see it.
Right. Well, no, we can see it, but you want to do it so that it's full screen. So scroll over a little bit, right? Whoop, too far. Keep going. Next one over. Right there. Click on that. Now click on play from start, very left.
Got it.
Oops.
Wait a minute.
Cancel. Play from start. Okay, so now you should be able to, with your mouse or with the right keyboard, be able to click. There you go.
Got it. Let me go back. There's something about electronics in me. I try to make friends. All right. I want to start with a little bit of a story. A few years ago, when I was working in a major pharmaceutical company, I was sitting in the office with my then boss and a guy I worked with. We were at the same level. And Neil, the boss, said, David, I'm promoting you. And I looked around and I said, what about me? I'll continue the story later, but my mind went to a dark place. And that's what we're going to talk about avoiding today. The holidays are coming up. Life is happening. So let's see what we can do. First, some rules that Jeff loves, and that is things like the Vegas rule. What happens here stays here. And as an aside, I am a coach. And one of the values I hold dear to my heart is that everything that's said between me and a client or a potential client stays confidential. If you guys are going to share stuff, if I'm going to share stuff, it deserves the respect of confidentiality. Speaking of the next one, which is Aretha Franklin, who many of us remember her song Respect. The bottom line is, I know it's probably not politically correct, but I will respect you for what you think and what you say and what you ask, even if it's different from mine. Because the purpose of a coach is to get you thinking, not me. And I need to respect that process. Airplane rule. I probably have some ADD, so telephones ringing, stuff like that gets to me. Coca-Cola rule. Guys, we're here to help each other and help ourselves. Be honest, be real. And, you know, having fun is the greatest stimulus to growth that we can have. Okay, now, so you don't fall asleep or you don't keep wondering what we're going to talk about, I like to lay it out right up front. First of all, what do you mean winning? I want a job. So what does winning have to do with it? Second, I feel like a loser. So how do I become a winner? And last, the holidays aren't coming up. Even though I just read in the news that certain states have disallowed celebrating certain holidays. I think it was Michigan that says we can't have Halloween. Hello? I don't understand. Okay, so what's winning? Most of us think of winning, and it was really funny because when I was looking up some good quotes, they were all from sports figures. So we think of winning as victory. I got the soccer trophy. I got the Super Bowl ring. It's winning over someone else. Or I won the lottery. So it's getting something which is winning. So it could be a verb, it could be a subject. An object. But what I want to focus on today is, what does winning mean to you internally? And how will that affect your external? So as I wrote here, it means becoming the best you can be, learning how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and keeping pushing and moving. We're all here for a reason. Jeff has organized this awesome group. He gives you the tools. And I managed to listen to the last couple speakers talk about interview workshops, practice. Those are tools. Having the best resume in town, having a LinkedIn profile that, if you could visualize it, has stars flashing around it. But the bottom line is, how do you feel inside? Because it's how that feeling exists which affects everything outside of you. So I don't know if you can see these, but I found two interesting quotes. The first, and you can read, okay? Ian Robinson is a British psychology professor. And both he and Pat Summitt, I don't know if you know who Pat Summitt was. She was a basketball coach for women's basketball team in Tennessee. And up until I think it was 2012, she had the most wins, be they female college teams or male college teams. And what she said is winning is fun, but it's that wanting. It's like, and I apologize, I forget the gentleman's name who spoke before. He says, is this the place you want to work? If it's, think about it for a minute. If it's a place you want to work, you're going to work harder to go for the job. If it's, well, just have to pay the mortgage, you'll work hard, but not as if it's, wow, this is an exciting place. I want to work with these people. I want to be with these people. I want to do the work they're asking me to do. Very different in psychological perspective. And I think the key is what Mrs. Summit said, never being satisfied with what you've done. Yeah, I'm going to mention this again later. When you win at something, okay, pat yourself on the back. No one else may, okay, but give yourself that and then say, what can I do next? So, as Jeff mentioned at the beginning, and some of you know me, I seem to be a holiday staple coming back every year, that I'm a biochemist by my training. Therefore, I think you can assume I love the science behind it. So in biology, as it says in the first bullet point, there's something called the winner effect. Once that animal wins against certain opponents, he or she is most likely to win against stronger opponents. And that once you have a win, it's easier to climb to the next levels. They want to do it. We become addicted to the winning. And a couple of slides, I'll explain what does that mean biologically, because winning and losing both have effects on our brain. And I'm always fascinated, and that's why I want to share it, with how changes in the brain are related to changes in behavior, which can change your results that happen. Bottom line, winning, when you win at something, or even when you think you're winning. Let me give you a good example. I had a fight with a contractor. I'm still dealing with issues from the February snowmageddon, all right? Little win. I felt good that I took care of myself and I won. What goes on in the brain, I hope I'm not putting you guys to sleep, but I think this stuff is cool, is we release a drug, well, it can be a drug, but a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is known as the feel-good chemical. It's released when you feel good. And here's a question to ponder. When you feel good, are you willing to do more? Are you willing to move beyond the boundaries you've set for yourself? I happen to become addicted to that little buzz after I say I won at something. The key that I want to bring across to you guys is this. I can't give you a job, all right? I can't give you the magic potion that you can give to a hiring manager to hire you. What I can provide you with is some insight to help you feel better about yourselves and therefore be willing to move on, to take the risks, which will promote getting the results you want. So dopamine is the bottom line. You want to feel good, you want to be motivated. And remember, you can't just be motivated. Motivation comes as a result of actions. By the way, and this is both men and women, winning also changes testosterone levels. You ever feel really confident and strong, powerful because you did something, you won? That's because of that little bit of testosterone. That's why you feel confident. Whoops. Okay. Bottom line, winning causes the brain to change, helps you stay focused, helps you get smarter. Winning encourages you to keep learning and you're confident. It's sort of like building blocks. The more you build, the more you add the little wins, the stronger you get. So what characterizes a winner? I'm sure all of you can answer these. From being willing to say, oh, shoot, I messed up, but what can I learn from this? Versus a loser says, oh, shoot, I messed up. I must be a mess up. Being a winner says, okay, I didn't do that interview well. I don't feel good about it. Let me analyze what I could do different. A loser says, oh my God, what will happen if I make the wrong decision? A winner says, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to keep going. I also realize that sometimes I have to change the process to get the result I want. So I'll bet you most of you are thinking the following thoughts. All right, Susan, come on, give me a break. All right, to be a winner, all I want to do is get a job. I am busting my butt. I'm taking every one of Jeff's courses. I'm listening to every guru on career change and career growth that I can do. Nothing is working. So what the hell are you talking about? I'm a loser. These are going to be the worst holidays. I'm looking now at not getting back on the job search market till January. Then Susan sticks her 2 cents in, by the way, never been shy, and says, but you can feel like you're winning. You can serve yourself to move forward. Am I putting you to sleep yet? Hope not. Okay, Venus Williams, again, a great sports figure, all right? She said the following: believe in yourself when no one else does. That makes you a winner. So guys, being a winner is more often an inside job than an outside job. You can't control the hiring manager who's talking to you because he doesn't want to get in trouble, but he knows he wants to hire his brother-in-law. You can't do anything. So let's get into how we can change things. Bottom line, it's about your mindset, okay? If you can understand how your mind works, and therefore how to think about it, Okay, you can become who you want to become. So let me ask you a question. How many of you used to believe in Santa Claus? And as a Jewish girl, I even believed in Santa Claus because I used to cry because he never visited me. And how many of you believe in Santa Claus today? What does that tell you? That tells you that just because you believe something doesn't mean it's going to work for you today. It doesn't serve you. So I want you to put your thinking caps on. I am not here, by the way, to give you didactics. I'm not here to tell you wear a black suit, wear pumps if you're a woman, et cetera, et cetera. My job today is to tell you, in a sense, more information about thinking that is up to you. All right, this is a busy slide. And by the way, I forget who wrote this. Think about your brains, all right? You have about 60,000 thoughts a day. Can you focus on any of those thoughts? Hell no, 60,000 thoughts in a day. I want you now to think about your brain exists in two parts. Many more, but we'll talk about two parts. You've got the older part that tries to take as many of these thoughts, actions, etc., put them into habits. Okay, so you don't have to deliberately think about them. Then you have another part of your brain. That's the part of your brain that makes deliberate choices. Now, if you have 60,000 thoughts a day, that's impossible to handle. So as many as possible, you want to put into these old packets, or as I like to call them, thinking habits. For example, all right, you took information in, and if you heard it enough, maybe it became a pattern that you behaved. Maybe it became a belief. Enough people told you about Santa Claus, right? When you were a kid. So you believed it, and it became a belief. It became like a chunk in your older brain. Until one day, your smarter brain says, you know, doesn't work for me anymore. Maybe I need to question it. We've got a lot of beliefs like that. So my belief at the time when Neil said, no, she's not going to get a promotion was I screwed up. I'm no good. I'm not going to move forward in this company. That was an old belief. It took me many years to look at that belief and say, wait a minute, believing that doesn't serve me. Or my favorite one is, oh, I can't do that. I'm an introvert. I can't just speak to people. I'm an introvert. Okay, that's a belief. And you've thoughts around that belief. I'm an introvert, which says to you, I can't talk to people. I don't want to talk to people. Underneath that is a belief. I will embarrass myself. I will make a fool of myself. What if, and that's an old, you guys know the visual of a hamster in a hamster wheel? Well, you start that belief going, and it just cycles through that hamster wheel. What if instead that hamster wheel is spinning, the other part of your brain says, okay, I don't like to talk to people. However, maybe if I look at it and say, I'm going to focus on the results I want to get, and I know I'm pretty smart, I can do this. Now I have two things going on at once. I am never going to tell you if you have a thought, okay, you have a belief that you telling yourself, I shouldn't think that way. I shouldn't behave that way. I shouldn't act that way. All right, that's crap. That's a scientific term. Because you won't, that won't work. That puts all your energy on trying to push down the stuff that doesn't serve you. What if instead you said, my old brain is trying to protect me. And at some point in my life, it protected me by forming this belief. Okay, how else can I think? What else can I believe? Okay, I'm an introvert. This is something we'll talk about later. There are a lot of parties at Christmas. Okay, I'm not going. I'm staying home. I'll watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever. What if instead you said, I really know that Susan told me parties can be very helpful to making new contacts. Can I allow myself to be uncomfortable for that period of time? So, guys, I'm just giving you a broad overview. One of the things I'll say at the end is, if any of you want to talk to me, I'll put up my information and Jeff has it as well. So when a belief comes up, I challenge you. Oh, I can't do this because I'm too fat. I'm too short. I can't apply for this job because I don't have all the credentials, which means I'm bad, I'm wrong for the job, etc. What if when that belief comes up, that thought comes up, you said, is that serving me? Let me share with you something I'm doing. All right. I have fought the battle of the bulge for many years. All right. I fight my weight for centuries. And I have a belief I can't do it. But I also have the belief that maybe I can do it. I have this image of myself who won that issue. That helps me balance. I made a deliberate choice how to act toward it. Or over the last several months, I've been blessed with working with a group of women from your group. And one of the subjects we talked about was being ghosted. Ghosted by, let's say, a recruiter or a hiring manager. And one way to think about it is that's reinforcing a belief. I'm not good enough. I'm a loser. I'm not worth their time and attention. And you know what kind of path that leads you down. Well, here's an option. It doesn't serve you. So what else could you think? Well, maybe they're just poor-mannered people. Maybe they're so busy, they don't know what they're doing. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm coming up with options to look at it. Am I getting rid of the old negative beliefs? No, but I'm building up the positive ones. One of the gentlemen at the beginning, before I spoke, said, keep practicing. That's what works. And Debasish, and I can't pronounce his last name, quote, most important and most difficult thing you can change is your fixed false beliefs. He is an American physician. He's a philosopher, a poet, and he believes we can all grow to be better. In case you guys have not read a book, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This was one of the most life-changing books I ever had. Okay. Every action you take is a decision. Every action you take is, as he put it, a vote for the type of person you want to become. All right, you're the introvert. I don't want to go to parties. Taking that action tells you that in the future, you're going to hold back. You're going to hide. You're not going to take risks. Okay? Success is not going, oh, I can't think that anymore. It's, I can't do that. It's taking small steps toward changing. Go to one party, all right? Get one business card app on your phone. Do one thing to level up. No single instant will transform your beliefs. But as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your identity. Any of you guys ever go on a seesaw? So your old beliefs and your new deliberate beliefs, gradually they'll even up. And then your new beliefs will take over. So I got 10 minutes. All right. I always talk about what's going on over the holidays. And there are a lot of people out there who go, oh, shoot, the holidays are starting. Everything's slowing down. What bother? Well, I happen to think the opposite, that it's the ideal time. People feel charitable. People feel kind. People feel more open to other people. Now, this isn't separate from what I've been talking about. We were born to win, otherwise we wouldn't survive, okay? Winning goes back to caveman, all right? You won if that saber-toothed tiger didn't eat you up. You won if you stayed part of the group, that because you were in the group, you were able to save yourselves from the saber-toothed tiger. But there was planning involved. So to be a winner isn't like, what's his face? Whatever, getting a magic wand and tapping and going, you're a winner. Winning involves planning. It involves preparing and going with the attitude of, I will win. So what does it mean to win over the holidays? Well, for some people, the holidays can trigger a suicidal depression, all right? Other people, it signals it's time to hibernate like bears. Other people, it signals, so what can I grab from the season of the year that's going to help me become what I want to be? Some reminders about the holidays, all right? The holidays are a great time to develop relationships. Everybody is sort of on the same page. We're happier, okay, kinder. It's a season of miracles. So just a reminder, and by the way, this is true, not just for the holidays, for all time. Be authentic, be who you are. You know, it's like when I've interviewed people, and by the way, I used to run an executive recruiting firm, and when I counsel candidates going in, I'd say, be real, be authentic. You don't want to take a job based on something you think they want. It's pretty stressful to keep that kind of behavior up. So How do we do this? Well, I've broken it down into 5 parts. All right. Over the holidays, parties, they're really important. Your health. How does the holidays impact your health? Remember, we talked earlier a lot about your brain. Well, how healthy do you think your brain is when you feel like a loser and act like a loser? Just as the scientist is back, you put out a lot of stress hormones. I'm sure many of you have heard about cortisol, okay, or epinephrine or adrenaline. Those are deleterious to your health. Making connections, it's an easier time, etc. Let's just dive a little bit into each. Parties, all right? Parties are great. People go with an attitude of, we're gonna have fun. We may imbibe a little bit too much, may eat a little too much, but then I get to go home. So it's like the internet. You can make new connections, you can share information, but the atmosphere is very positive. But as I said earlier, you got a plan, all right? All right, I am going for 2 results. I want to have fun, and 2, take advantage of any potential connections for a job. So how can you prepare for that? Well, I like to research things, all right? I like to know as much upfront as I can. I'll ask my host, who's going to be there, all right? Who do you think would be good maybe for me to talk to? All right. Then I'll stalk them on Google, find out anything I can. Oh, Mrs. Smith is going to be there? Great. Could you please introduce me? And finally, all right, this is going to sound very old-fashioned, but it works. Say thank you. Send a thank you note. All right. Don't ghost people. You don't know who they know. Oh, I met so-and-so. Now, he or she has nothing to do with what I'm looking for, but who knows? I think I'll just send him a note acknowledging meeting him or her. Okay, let's talk about health reasons. Okay, holidays. They're all about, to me, things happening. All right, good things happening. All right, I always look at Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, even Halloween as happy times. And when you're happy, it sets your brain up for success, and it's contagious. You ever notice if you smile at someone who's maybe just glum, that smile is catching. It has amazing qualities, all right? And something I want to remind you of that, remember we talked about winning is virtually a state of mind, okay? So how do you win internally with one aspect being take care of yourself? Okay, relax. I put something in here, snow time. I don't know if any of you guys are from the East Coast, but the bottom line is there were days that you'd wake up in the morning, your backpack is packed, or your homework's done, etc. And there was a blizzard overnight. I remember days like that growing up in New York. And then I go, oh, I can just do anything I want to. So now as a coach, I call it snow time. And again, that buzzword, that chemical, it promotes dopamine. Connections. What a great time to make connections. And I don't only mean new ones. It could be, oh, you know, there was a recruiter I dealt with in my previous job search. What a perfect excuse to write her and say, hey, how are you? I was thinking about you. It's a holiday. Okay? Drop an email, drop a card. I know it's hard to believe, but there still are hard stock cards, not just e-cards. Okay? Call people up. There was a study done that found especially over the Christmas to New Year's holidays, is that that's a time they give support staff off. Bosses tend to answer their own phone. The bottom line is, you guys want to make a connection, stay out there. Business cycle. This is part of winning. Remember, winning is taking risks. Winning is acknowledging and researching and planning. Okay? What happens this time of the year? Actions wind down. Okay? Businesses are thinking of their future. Then there's a group of job seekers who go, shoot, nobody's doing anything, so I'm just gonna take a vacation. What an opportunity, okay, for each one of you. And call me an old mush, but I like to think of it as a season of miracles. I don't care what faith you are, but there's something very gratifying to me and humbling to think of that. So I leave you with this note. Someone out there is looking for you, so make it easy for them to find you. Everybody likes a winner in their corner. Just like the smile, it becomes contagious. So I challenge each and every one of you. What are you going to do to become a winner? So, as I said, here's my information. Please feel free to contact me, even to say, Susan, I don't agree with the word you said. Fine, let's talk about it. So thank you all.
Susan,
And I
thank you very
can't
much.
wait to come back in person. I like people.
Yeah, I mean, I just was having a discussion that I'm hoping at this point to be able to get back together as a group, maybe after the first of the year. So I don't think starting in December or November, December, just because only a couple of weeks in the holidays, that we'll see what it looks like after the first of the year. So Susan, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions or comments? You're welcome to unmute your mic and ask. We've got a few minutes here.
How do I stop this?
Oh, I'll stop it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions, comments?
Are you awake?
Yeah, I see a bunch of smiling faces out there.
Susan, I have a comment. You
Yes.
talked about your attitude and what you're thinking. And one of the first things I think about as far as an interview is going is, what are you thinking before the interview? And if you're in that positive frame of mind and you ask, I think, and said the exact things, are you really truly excited about the job? Are you truly excited about the company? That will take you so much further than the typical candidate. I can't describe it. It is huge. It has to be genuine. Excellent words. Thank you so much. I think all the information that you gave today can really help. And it helps me too, get off of that negative side and get onto that positive side.
Yeah, thank you, Walt. One of the things I used to say to my candidates before they go into an interview is that the preparation is actually more than the interview itself. It's almost like a pre-interview with yourself. Okay, why am I here? What am I doing? As you said, be authentic, but to me, it's that why question people need to ask themselves. So, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Well, Susan, thank you very much. I mean, the reason I have you, before the holidays is because, number one, you're the only speaker I've heard over the last 12, 13 years that talks about the holidays and about how effective you can network. And this is a great opportunity to go out and meet other people, and you'll see people that you haven't seen for a whole year, or how to reach out to people that you haven't maybe talked to in a year, sending them a thank you note or a Christmas note or a holiday card, or just reaching out to them via phone going, I just hope everything's going well with you at the holidays. So I really, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Bye,
You're welcome.
guys.
All right, next Friday, our speaker is Mike Perry. He's going to talk about how to make a networking strategy that works. I heard Mike a couple months ago, and he was a really good speaker. So I think you'll really enjoy his time next week. If you have not put your 30-second introductions into the Zoom chat box or into the Facebook comment field, please put your name, phone, email address, position you're looking for, a couple target companies, so that we can, so I can get all the information out. I will publicize it all this afternoon, and see who you can help. Look down that list, see what contacts you may have a company where you can help somebody else. For those people on Facebook, I will go and delete your personal information, so we won't be hanging out there. As soon as the meeting's over, I'll copy it over, and we will. I'll get rid of it off of Facebook. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. I hope you'll join us. Next Tuesday, Terry Sullivan will be with us for LinkedIn Tuesdays. How to create a LinkedIn brand. It tells your key contacts who you are, what you do, and how you can help. Every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central, we talk about LinkedIn. Next Wednesday, as we've mentioned before, for interviewing Wednesdays, we'll be on session 13, avoiding interview crashes. So if you'd be interested, this is just a great little summary from Mark and Walt about things that they've seen, errors that people make, and how you can, just be aware of them. So you could if you're aware of things, you'll think about, I better make sure I don't do that. So how to handle that. That'll be a great session next Wednesday. And then next Thursday, being the fourth Thursday of the month, we will talk about networking with Kurt Vondermatter. This session has been recorded. You will be able to go back and watch it on the Career DFW Facebook page or the Career USA YouTube channel. On the Career USA YouTube channel really is the best place to go find all these things, because there's playlists that have been put together. So you can go pick resumes, interviewing, LinkedIn, and then don't click on the video, but down below where it says, where that red arrow is, click on View Full Playlist. Up will come a list in chronological order of the title of the day, the topic of the day, and the date. The newest one should be on top. If not, click on that little sort button at the very top. So thank you very much for joining us today. Have a great weekend. It's going to be a toasty one this weekend. David, congratulations on your new job. And everybody have a great weekend.